Arsenal's summer transfer window has exploded into life with a flurry of negotiations, confirmed deals, surprise exits, and high-stakes battles for some of Europe's most sought-after talents, marking what is shaping up to be one of the busiest and most transformative off-seasons in the club's modern history. And as the Gunners prepare to overhaul their squad from back to front, the Emirates has become a hive of activity where every day brings fresh twists and breaking developments, beginning with the latest breakthrough in their pursuit of Valencia's rising defensive star Gyokeres Mosquera, with Fabrizio Romano confirming that Arsenal have reached full personal term agreements with the 19-year-old highly rated centre-back, a player seen in Spain as a long-term cornerstone to bolster Mikel Arteta's backline. And while their initial £13 million bid was rejected, the Gunners are preparing a second offer of around £18 million, confident they can seal the deal for just over £20 million as talks progress, while on the incoming list Brentford captain Christian Norgard is set to swap West London for North after Arsenal agreed a £9.3 million fee, with personal terms and medicals already sorted, bringing crucial midfield reinforcement following Jorginho's exit to Flamengo and with Thomas Partey almost certain to leave as well. And in goal, former Chelsea goalkeeper Kepa Arrizabalaga has joined after Arsenal triggered a £5 million release clause, instantly providing experienced depth behind David Raya in a season where Arteta will fight on multiple fronts. And the club have also moved decisively to secure the long-term future of Hale End prodigy Miles Lewis-Skelly, handing the 18-year-old a lucrative new 5-year deal that elevates him to one of the highest-paid teenagers in world football, fending off heavy interest from Real Madrid after his breakout season. But the outgoings are equally significant, with Partey leaving as a free agent after 167 appearances and £42.7 million invested since his 2020 arrival from Atletico Madrid. His departure part of a midfield reshuffle that will soon see Real Sociedad's Martin Zubimendi join for around £55 million, with the fee structured above his release clause to comply with profit and sustainability rules, and speculation swirling around Alexander Zinchenko's future as Fulham move in with a £10 million bid for the Ukrainian versatile operator, hoping to use him in both defense and midfield, though Arsenal value him closer to £12.7 million, while in attack the hunt for a lethal number 9 has intensified, with RB Leipzig lowering their asking price for Benjamin Sesko from the £68 to £85 million range down to just under £60 million, giving Arsenal a clearer path to the 22-year-old Slovenian goal machine, who has already agreed personal terms in principle, though wage demands remain a hurdle, and Sporting Lisbon's prolific striker Partey Gyokeres remains firmly on the shortlist despite Liverpool entering the race, and Sporting's president Frederico Varand is standing firm on his £84 million release clause after flatly denying talk of a gentleman's agreement, with Arsenal also monitoring Hugo Ekitike of Eintracht Frankfurt, valued at £85 million and likened to Thierry Henry, and Aston Villa's Ollie Watkins, a January target for whom a £40 million bid was rejected but who remains admired by Arteta, while on the flanks Real Madrid have reportedly reduced Rodrigo's price tag to £77 million, tempting Arsenal given the Brazilian's Champions League pedigree and Gabriel Magalhaes publicly calling him a phenomenon, though the board must weigh whether to prioritize a pure striker over a versatile forward. And amid this, Bayern Munich's interest in Gabriel Martinelli has been rebuffed, with Arsenal insisting the Brazilian winger will not be sold at any price, even as Newcastle hold firm on Alexander Isak, another long-term target, all of which is happening against the backdrop of a punishing start to the 2025-26 Premier League campaign that sees Arsenal face Manchester United, Liverpool, and Manchester City in their first 5 matches, increasing the urgency to finalize key signings before the club's pre-season tour of Asia begins on July 19 with high-profile friendlies against AC Milan, Newcastle, and Spurs, matches that will give Arteta an early chance to integrate new arrivals into his system. And with the clock ticking, the Arsenal hierarchy knows that landing a clinical striker could define their title chances, as the shortcomings of Kai Havertz and Gabriel Jesus last season exposed the absence of a consistent 20-plus goal poacher, making Sesko, Gyokeres, or even Watkins not just potential signings but the centerpiece of the club's entire summer rebuild. And as negotiations twist and turn, one thing is certain: this is not a quiet or conservative window, but a statement of intent from a club determined to bridge the gap to glory, fueled by bold moves, fierce competition, and a willingness to spend big where it matters most. Arsenal's 2025 summer transfer window has erupted into one of the most aggressive, high-stakes and headline-dominating rebuilds the Emirates has seen in years, with Mikel Arteta and the club's hierarchy orchestrating a meticulously planned yet fast-moving overhaul that touches every department of the squad, from shoring up the defense with promising youth and seasoned experience, to reshaping the midfield engine room, to finally addressing the glaring need for a consistent, world-class goal scorer who can spearhead a genuine Premier League title challenge, and as the days tick by, the level of activity, drama, and negotiation is so relentless that it feels like Arsenal are engaged in a multi-front war for signings, battling domestic rivals like Manchester United, Liverpool, Tottenham, and even foreign giants such as Bayern Munich and Real Madrid for the signatures of targets deemed crucial to taking the team to the next level, beginning with their most recent breakthrough, the move for Valencia's 19-year-old defensive prodigy Gyokeres Mosquera, a player already touted in Spain as one of the best emerging centre-backs of his generation, with Fabrizio Romano confirming that Arsenal have already reached full agreement on personal terms, and while an initial £13 million bid was turned down, the club are now preparing an improved £18 million offer, confident negotiations will close at just over £20 million, a fee seen as a bargain for a long-term solution to strengthen Arteta's backline, and in midfield, Brentford captain Christian Norgard is on the verge of becoming a gunner after the club's agreed a £9.3 million transfer fee, with personal terms wrapped up and medical clearance granted, his arrival timed perfectly to offset the confirmed departure of Jorginho to Flamengo and the looming exit of Thomas Partey. While between the posts, Arsenal have triggered the £5 million release clause of former Chelsea goalkeeper Kepa Arrizabalaga, adding a proven shot stopper as an experienced deputy for David Raya, a move that could be decisive in a season that will demand depth and reliability across all competitions, and in a powerful show of commitment to their youth project, Arsenal have tied down Hale-End sensation Miles Lewis-Skelly to a bumper new 5-year deal, elevating the 18-year-old to one of the highest-paid teenagers in the world and killing off mounting interest from Real Madrid after his eye-catching breakout season. But while these arrivals excite the fanbase, the departures are equally telling of the club's strategic reshaping, with Thomas Partey leaving as a free agent after 167 appearances since his £42.7 million arrival from Atletico Madrid in 2020, his exit marking the end of an era and the start of a midfield reboot that will soon include Real Sociedad's Martin Zubimendi, whose £55 million move has been agreed in principle with the fee structured above his release clause to meet profit and sustainability requirements, while Alexander Zinchenko's Arsenal future hangs in the balance as Fulham prepare a £10 million bid, hoping to use the versatile Ukrainian in both defense and midfield despite Arsenal valuing him at £12.7 million. And in the attacking department, the real drama lies in the search for a clinical number 9, a problem Arteta knows must be solved after Kai Havertz and Gabriel Jesus failed to consistently deliver last season, with RB Leipzig's Benjamin Sesko emerging as the leading candidate, the 22-year-old Slovenian having already agreed personal terms in principle according to reports, though wage demands remain a sticking point. Yet Leipzig's willingness to lower their asking price from £68 to £85 million to just under £60 million gives Arsenal a clear opening, but they are not putting all their eggs in one basket, as Sporting Lisbon's Victor Gyokeres remains a major target despite Liverpool entering the race and Sporting's president Frederico Varane is refusing to budge from his £84 million release clause, going as far as publicly denying rumours of a gentleman's agreement to sell for less and accusing the player's agent of game playing. While the Gunners are also tracking Eintracht Frankfurt's Hugo Ekitike, valued at £85 million and likened to Thierry Henry for his style, as well as Aston Villa's Ollie Watkins, whose £40 million January bid was rejected but who still interests Arsenal despite Villa's Champions League qualification likely pushing his price higher. And even with so much focus on securing a new striker, the Gunners are keeping other offensive options open, including the possibility of landing Real Madrid's Rodrigo after the Spanish giants dropped his valuation to £77 million, with Gabriel Magalhaes openly calling him a phenomenon and urging the club to bring him in, though Madrid's reluctance to sell means it would require a strong push to make it happen, all while Arsenal fend off Bayern Munich's advances for Gabriel Martinelli, insisting the Brazilian winger will not be sold under any circumstances, and Newcastle United's refusal to engage over Alexander Isak further underlines the difficulty of landing elite forwards in this market. But with Arsenal's preseason tour of Asia beginning on July 19 and marquee friendlies against AC Milan, Newcastle, and Spurs already booked, the urgency to complete key signings before the trip is growing, as Arteta wants all new arrivals embedded in the squad before the curtain rises on a brutal Premier League start that pits them against Manchester United, Liverpool, and Manchester City in their opening 5 games, making the execution of this transfer strategy not just about ambition but about survival in a title race that will punish any slip in preparation. And as negotiations rage on behind closed doors with agents, clubs, and intermediaries, it is clear that Arsenal's summer is not about tinkering at the edges but about building a squad capable of not only challenging domestically but also making deep runs in Europe, a squad that blends youth and experience, flair and grit, depth and star quality, and while no one knows yet if the final piece of the puzzle will be Sesko, Gyökeres, Watkins, or a surprise late move for another marquee striker, one thing is certain: every move Arsenal make between now and the close of the window will shape not just the upcoming season but the trajectory of the club's project for years to come, and the Emirates faithful can sense that this is a decisive moment in their pursuit of glory, where calculated risks, big spending, and bold decisions must come together to finally deliver the silverware they crave.